Have you ever had the feeling of living on autopilot? Wake up, work, fulfill tasks, but at the end of the day, it seems that nothing made sense. You may be just existing and not really living. And the worst, this has become normal. We are so busy trying to survive that we forget to live with intention, presence, with purpose. But what if I told you that more than 2,000 years ago, had a man named Seneca noticed that, and that he developed a simple, silent, and powerful practice that can completely transform his relationship with life? Today, you will find out why reflecting 5 minutes a night can be worth more than whole years in automatic. Let's talk about the only question that can change your trajectory. And no, this is not cheap self-help, it is Stoic philosophy applied to its reality. Get ready to question everything: your decisions, your routines, and even the way you see time. Perhaps the answer to the life you want is closer than you might think inside you. But only those who have the courage to look inside can find. If you feel you are wasting time with what doesn't matter, this video has been made for you. And in the end, you will have a concrete practice, tested for centuries, to begin to really live from today. The power of self-analysis. Seneca, one of the biggest names in Stoicism, taught that philosophy begins within us. He dedicated his day-to-day finals to the analysis of his actions, thoughts, and words. This simple practice had a deep impact on its evolution as a human being and philosopher. Today, in a world full of distractions, stop to reflect has become almost a luxury. But those seeking wisdom need to learn to hear, to see each other. Self-analysis is a pillar of self-knowledge. When you allow yourself to review your attitudes, it identifies patterns, addictions, and also virtues. It is in this process that continuous improvement becomes possible. Stoic philosophy is not theoretical, it is practical. Seneca didn't read to look wise. He lived every idea. Today we have apps, social networks, millions of content, but little connection with ourselves. The proposal here is simple: take a daily time at night to look inside. Ask yourself, sincerely, what did I do good today? Where did I miss? What did I have learned? These questions reposition you on the right track, make you come back to you. The largest trap in the modern world is to live on autopilot. Work, consume, complain, repeat. But that is not living. That is to survive. And Seneca knew that, even 2,000 years ago. Daily reflection is the antidote against life without purpose. She puts you in control of your journey. Stoic philosophy is not a distant theory. It is a philosophy of life, a practice, a more conscious way of walking. When you start to hear yourself, you start to respect yourself. And that changes everything. Decisions improve. Relationships change. The inner energy transforms. Many people seek answers away: gurus, books, videos. But if there is no internal silence, none of that good. The silence of a present mind reveals more than 1,000 external words. Start slowly. 5 minutes a night. Ask, write, feel. Your conscience will be your guide. By repeating this practice every day, you will create a new habit. And habits shape who we are. A powerful habit of reflection transforms months, years, and a lifetime. In the end, the most important question will be, it was the one I wanted to be today? This is the question that defines a life with purpose. The Stoic philosophy as GPS of life. We live surrounded by stimuli, notifications, deadlines, comparisons. But those who follow the Stoic philosophy know that life needs direction, not in a hurry. Seneca used reflection as a kind of inner GPS. He did not expect the days to take him somewhere. He chose where he wanted to go. This is the power of the question, it was the one I wanted to be today. It forces you to look clearly at your route. Are you living your values or just repeating what the world sends? Ancient wisdom shows us that the most important thing is not how much we run, but how aligned we are with our destination. When you wonder daily about your conduct, you strengthen your emotional intelligence. You understand your emotions better, recognize your mistakes, and prepare to correct them. This exercise is simple but powerful. He puts you in the center of his own existence. Stoic philosophy teaches that we have no control over everything, but we have control over ourselves. This is the essence of a life with purpose. Who lives reacting to others loses energy. Those who live guided by consciousness gain direction. Stoic is firm, but not hard. It is flexible, but not weak. In everyday life, this night reflection becomes a compass. You come to realize that blind hurry and silence teaches, and gradually, it begins to live better, with more lightness and more intentionality. Life to be a sequence of obligations and becomes a space of conscious construction. It is important to understand that this practice is not perfectionism. It is not judging, blaming, or punishing yourself. It is looking lovingly, but with truth. It is correcting without injuring yourself. It is evolving without getting lost. Stoic philosophy calls us to be more whole, no longer. More human, no longer demanding. What transforms is not what you think, but what you do with what you think. So think better, in depth. Live better, conscientious. Daily reflection is an invitation to your own truth. And as Seneca said, the soul must be brought before itself. Every day, the mirror of consciousness. Reflecting every night is like looking at an invisible mirror, the one who does not show the face but the soul. Seneca did this with discipline. He understood that a life without examination is an unfortunate life. And this mirror, called consciousness, never lies. He reveals what we really are. In today's world, it is easy to get away from yourself. Just a cell phone, a series, a superficial conversation. But whoever lives running away from themselves never finds peace. As Stoic philosophy calls us to face who we really are. No masks, no excuses. The night is the ideal time for this. Everything silences, except the heart. When you create this inner observation habit, it begins to build a deep relationship with its essence. And the most beautiful thing is that it requires nothing external. No coach, course, or magic formula. Just courage to look inside. Just want to live a life with more true. This inner mirror reveals when we act with kindness and when we were guided by pride. It shows when we were fair and when we give in to anger. It's not about blaming yourself, but about adjusting. Stoic philosophy is like an alignment of values, and the alignment begins in consciousness. One of the biggest modern mistakes is believing that only evolves those who suffer a lot. But constant self-knowledge is a path of peace. When you know where you are making a mistake, you don't have to wait for the world to correct you. You adjust the course yourself. And this is freedom. It is autonomy. It is personal power. We often want to change the world, change others, change life. But what really changes everything is when we change the way we see each other. Seneca knew that. He did not expect the future to live better. He built the future every night when analyzing the present. The mirror of consciousness does not judge. He just shows. And when we accept to look sincerely, we become better every day. Not out of obligation, but by choice. As Stoic philosophy of life calls us this commitment to be better today than yesterday. Always, lightly, with courage, time as an ally of reflection. Seneca valued every minute like gold. For him, wasting time one of the biggest mistakes someone could make. And by reflecting every night, he evaluated if he had made good use of his day. This practice is more necessary than ever today. We live running, but running where? Time awareness is one of the greatest Stoic virtues. When you start asking, where am I spending my energy? He realizes how much wasted on things that do not matter. Stoic philosophy teaches time is the only resource that does not return. And ignoring this is ignoring life. Daily reflection forces us to review our choices. Did what you did today approach the life you want? What did you say built or destroyed? When we stop to think, we realize that the greatest wealth is not what we have, but what we do with the time we have. Many people want to change their lives, but they don't want to change their routine. And it is in routine that time hides. A day lived without conscience is a lost day, but one day analyzed is a recovered day. Modern Stoic philosophy teaches us to value every moment as a seed planted in the future. You don't have to turn the night reflecting. It is enough 5 to 10 minutes a day. What matters is the constancy. As Seneca did, he wouldn't let the night pass without this meeting with himself, because he knew who does not watch his days get lost in the months, and then in the years. Time, for Stoic, is not an enemy. It is a master. He reveals who we are if we know how to listen to him. Each day lived with presence is a step on the growth ladder. And each night of reflection is like cleaning your feet before entering home, an act of respect for yourself. If you want to build an extraordinary life, start using common days well. Live carefully, and at night, review with love. Time returns who treats it with dignity. As Seneca said, it's not that we have little time, we lose a lot. How about stopping? Small adjustments, great transformations. Seneca knew that wisdom is not in great speeches, but in the small adjustments of everyday life. That's why he examined his attitudes every night. This habit was not a punishment, it was a strategy, a practical way to grow a little every day, as those who sharpen the soul itself. When you commit to constant self-knowledge, you realize that you don't have to change everything at once. Just change a little a day, a thought, attitude, a reaction. This is how the Stoic philosophy manifests itself in the details, in the gestures, in the choices invisible to others. Many people live waiting for a great turn, but the real turn happens in silence, when you choose to be better even when no one is looking. Each night, when reflecting, you find opportunities for change, not to be perfect, but to be true. These small adjustments create a lighter life. You start to understand why you get annoyed, why procrastinates, why you act against yourself. And when you understand, you can transform. This is the secret of a deep philosophy of life, not denying error, but learning from it. All day, it is not a matter of charging itself excessively, but to take care of yourself carefully. Night reflection is an act of self-love. You are saying to yourself, I care who I'm becoming. And that changes everything. Because those who are observed with affection evolve with conscience. As Stoic philosophy invites us to be gardeners of the soul. Each night we remove a weed and water what we want to grow. This requires patience. But over time, the garden blooms. And the people around you realize. Because a well-groomed soul illuminates the environment. Remember, do not underestimate the power of a small daily adjustment. It is like changing a degree in the rudder of a ship. At first it looks little, but over time, it leads to a completely different destination. Reflect today, adjust tomorrow, and repeat. Wisdom is in the rhythm, not in a hurry. Inner clarity, the light that guides. Seneca understood that a clear mind is a clear life. He practiced introspection so as not to be guided by impulses, but by values. When you reflect every night, you begin to realize what is dark within you. And only when we identify the darkness can we light the light. This light is the inner clarity, which comes from the constant observation of the thoughts themselves. In everyday chaos, it is easy to get lost in reactive emotions, impulsive decisions, and purposeless attitudes. But as Stoic philosophy invites us to slow down and observe, is this in line with who I am? The practice of revising your actions at the end of the day is like cleaning the glasses of the mind. You see the patterns that were hidden better. Discover what drives you and what sabotages you. Consciousness, in this case, is not judgment. It is vision. And only with vision one builds a life with direction. Many times, we live trying to control the world, when what we really need is to control ourselves. And this emotional self-management begins clearly. Every night of reflection, you better understand what moves you, what breaks you, and what really matters. Over time, this practice generates peace, because you stop living and debating against yourself. It begins to walk more firmly. Your decisions gain purpose. Your relationships gain truth. Your life gains meaning. And all this starts inside, in silence, in the inner listening. Inner clarity is the basis of any transformation. Without it, we live in the dark. We repeat errors, hurt those we love, and sabotage our own dreams. But with her, we live with presence, with intention, and it gives us power, the power to change what needs to be changed. If your mind is confused today, do not despair. Start with one step. Sit at night and ask yourself with sincerity. Let the answers come. You don't have to have them all now, but allow yourself to see. Clarity does not come from haste. It comes from practice. It comes from the habit of listening every day. The peace of those who know each other. Seneca did not seek external approval. He sought internal coherence. This is only possible when you really know yourself. And constant self-knowledge, through daily reflection, is the most direct path to peace. Because there is only peace where there is no contradiction between what you think, feel, and do. We live in a time where everyone speaks, but few listen, especially themselves. Who does not hear lives in war with their own soul. Therefore, stopping a few minutes every night to evaluate how the day was a revolutionary act. A moment of reconnection with your truth. Stoic philosophy teaches that a mind in peace is stronger than any storm. When you understand what you are feeling and why you are feeling, you no longer need to react impulsively. You respond wisely. And that changes its relationship with the world and with yourself. The peace of those who know each other does not come from the absence of problems, but from the presence of clarity. You know what is within your reach and what is not. You know when to give in and when to keep your position. This consciousness reduces the drama of life, brings balance. It brings lightness. It brings power. Many think peace is something that is found. But peace is built, and it is built inside, with small daily gestures, with sincere questions, with deep listening, with active silence. Seneca did this every night. He did not expect the peace of the world. He created her through reflection. You can do that too. You don't need a retreat, an expensive course, or a new start. You just need a notebook, 5 minutes, and the willingness to look inside. Ask, where was I true today? Where was I incoherent? What can I adjust tomorrow? This is living philosophy. The peace of those who know each other is silent. It is discreet, but it is powerful, because it is unshakable. When the world screams, the known one remains firm, because the inner voice is stronger than any external noise. And this voice only grows when you hear it. Every night, with love, with courage, building the character day after day. For Seneca, the true value of a man was not in what he had, but in his character. And character is not born ready, it is built every day based on the choices we make. Daily reflection is like the brick that stands, night after night, in this inner construction. Every attitude, every word, every thought shapes who we are. When you ask yourself at night, was it fair today? Are you literally polishing your character? It is becoming someone's wider, more conscious, more aligned with what they believe. And this is more valuable than any external achievement. Stoic philosophy shows us that character is what remains when everything around changes. And in an unstable world like ours, this is gold. Those who have a firm character are not shaken by compliments or criticism. It is not lost in success or destroys in failure. Remain centered. This inner force is only born with practice. It does not come from ready-made sentences or passing motivation. It comes from a silent commitment to its own essence. It comes from looking in the soul mirror every day and correctly correcting what needs to be corrected, and celebrate, with gratitude, what has already flourished. We often wonder why life seems disorganized, why relationships fail or plans do not advance. And we forget that it all starts inside. A strong character supports everything you build, and when he is neglected, everything collapses. Stoic knows this. That is why the practice of self-analysis is so powerful. It is not about charging excessively. It's about cutting on. It's about becoming, every day, a little closer to your best version. Not to impress others, but to be proud of yourself. In silence, in peace. Seneca said, "What matters is not living, but living well." And living well is living with character, with truth, with purpose. What you build inside no one can take. And this construction starts today, when you stop for a few minutes and ask yourself, am I being who I want to be? Direction is more important than speed. Seneca understood that living well was not running, but walking with purpose. In a world where everyone wants fast results, Stoic philosophy teaches us that direction matters more than speed. Reflecting daily helps us not to walk in circles, keeping your feet firmly on the right track. The night is the ideal time for this route check. That's when we ask, today I advanced in the right direction or just kept busy? Many confuse movement with progress, but they are different things. Progress is silent, aligned with values. Movement can be only distraction. By examining your conscience, you understand whether you are living or just surviving. The difference between the two is in the intention behind each action, and the intention can only be recognized in the break. Stoic takes this break. He moves away from the noise and listens to his own soul. Those who live only in automatic loses growth opportunities. Therefore, Seneca taught to stop, reflect, and adjust. He knew that life on purpose requires constant attention. There is no purpose where there is no presence, and there is no presence where there is no silence. This night break is not a waste of time. It is investment, each minute reflecting spare hours of error the next day. And over time, this habit becomes part of you. You start to live with more lucidity, more focus, more presence, because you know where you're going. Modern Stoic philosophy does not ask for haste, it asks for depth. It invites us to get out of the surface and dive into the truth itself. When you understand your way, it doesn't matter if it goes slower. What matters is that it is going in the right direction, and that is enough. The question that defines everything is simple: I'm living as who knows where you want to go? If the answer is no, come back inside. Reflect, adjustment, and restart. Because a day lived with conscience is worth more than 1,000 days lived without purpose. And the right direction always begins with a sincere question: the freedom to be consistent. For Seneca, true freedom was not to do everything you want, but to live in coherence with your own principles. He examined his conscience every night because he knew who lives without consistency becomes a slave to his own instability. Inner freedom is born of faithfulness to itself. We live in a world where it is easy to lose trying to please everyone. We change opinions to fit in groups, pretend postures to look good. But at the end of the day, there is only one question that matters: I was faithful to myself today? And this question requires the courage to be asked sincerely. Daily reflection shows us where we are cheating on. When we say yes wanting to say no. When we shut up in the face of an injustice. When we act for fear, not for truth. Stoic philosophy calls us to live with erect spine and clean heart. And that requires daily practice. Consistency is not rigidity. It is alignment. This is when thought, word, and action walk together. And this harmony brings peace, because you stop living trying to support masks. You break free from the need to seem and begin to live to be. This is Stoicism in practice. Seneca was not perfect, but he sought integrity. And that is the point. It is never a matter of making mistakes, but having the humility to recognize and correct. As he reflected every night, he did this balance. A sincere examination, free of guilt, but full of responsibility. The freedom to be coherent is an achievement. And like every achievement, it requires effort, requires conscious choices, requires presence. But the return is immense true self-esteem, authentic relationships, and a life that makes sense. And it all starts with the simple habit of listening. Ask yourself today, am I living according to what I believe? If the answer is yes, continue. If not, breathe. Realize. Start. Because every night it brings a new chance to resume the path of consistency. And every step taken on this path is a step towards inner freedom, the courage to face the truth. Seneca practiced daily self-analysis because she had the courage to look at himself with sincerity. He knew that escaping the truth does not make it less real. Stoic philosophy teaches that only when we face what we are with honesty can we transform ourselves. The truth hurts, but frees it. In today's world, we are taught to hide failures, disguise mistakes, maintain appearances. But this theater has a high cost: the disconnection of who we really are. Daily reflection is like a clean mirror. It shows what is beautiful, but also reveals what needs to be adjusted. And that is valuable. Many avoid this practice for fear of what they will find. But Stoic knows that courage is not the absence of fear, is to face it. In analyzing your actions, you do not seek perfection, but clarity. And clarity is the first step to freedom. You can't change what you don't see. This courage to look inside transforms the way you live. You become more true in relationships, more direct in decisions, more whole with yourself. And this posture inspires, because living with truth is rare, and rare is valuable. Truth attracts peace and removes confusion. Self-pride is a comfortable arrest, but it is still a prison. The practice of daily reflection opens the door of this cell, allows you to move lightly, with more authenticity. Seneca knew it is only strong who knows each other, and only those who face their own truth are known. Don't be afraid of what you will find when looking inside. Be afraid to live a lifetime without ever having known yourself. Ask yourself with courage, what am I avoiding seeing? What do I need to change? These questions are key, and the soul responds if you listen calmly. The truth is a demanding but loyal friend. It does not protect you from pain, but protects you from illusion. And living without illusions is the greatest gift that philosophy can give you. Follow the example of Seneca. Look inside, with courage, with love, with a real desire to be someone better every day. Silent and constant growth. Seneca has shown us that true growth is not noisy. It happens in the silence of the mind that reflects, in the humility of those who learn with their own day, in the patience of those who understand that everything has their time. Stoic philosophy is a seed that sprouts inside with constancy. By examining your conscience every night, you are cultivating this seed. It may seem small at first, but over time, what was just a habit becomes part of your identity. You become more centered, wiser, more serene. And this happens without firm, but firmly. The world values what is fast, visible, flashy, but Stoic values what is deep, solid, lasting. True growth is like this, invisible to the eyes from the outside, but deeply felt by those who live. The daily reflection puts you on this route, the route of true evolution. Don't expect applause for doing this, nor external recognition. This is not about impressing, it is about transforming. Silent growth is powerful because no one can take from you what you have built internally. And no one can do for you, it's your responsibility. This journey has no end. And that is the gift. Because there will always be something to learn, to adjust, to strengthen. Seneca didn't reflect at night because she was weak. He did this because he was strong enough to admit that he could always be better. And this strength is also in you. Be patient with yourself. Not every day will be easy. Not all answers will come fast. But if you continue, you will see the fruits. You will see more peace in your relationships, more clarity in decisions, more joy in living. And all this starts with a simple gesture: look inside. Today, before bed, repeat the habit of the wise. Ask yourself with sincerity. Write if you want. Just feel. Practice. Because those who cultivate the silence of the night with reflection gather the wisdom of the morning with confidence. And so, step by step, you build a life with purpose, courage, and truth. Now tell me, are you really living or just passing the days? Are you being faithful to your values, or has it been carried out by routine, the noise of the world? What would change in your life if every night you would stop for 5 minutes and ask sincerely, today was I who I wanted to be? Stoic philosophy does not require perfection. It invites consciousness. And consciousness is the first step in transforming your story. Do not expect the ideal moment, the ideal place, or the ideal version of yourself. Start today. Start with a question. Start with the courage to look inside. And if this content made sense to you, subscribe to the channel right now. Activate the bell to receive reflections that really transform, that take you from the automatic and return you the direction of your life. Here, philosophy is not theory, it is practical action, it is daily transformation. In the next videos, we will continue to deepen this path of self-knowledge, emotional clarity, and inner strength. Because living for real is a workout, and you are not alone on this journey. So subscribe, share with those who need to hear this, and remember, your best version starts the moment you decide to live with purpose.